Hey, welcome back to Gowans Papercraft. Thank you very much for watching. Wat leuk dat je weer kijkt. Dankjewel. Today's video is for the Stampin' Hop blog hop and the theme is birthday. It's been quite a while since I made a birthday in a box and they're always such fun to make and give. If you don't know what it is, just watch this tutorial. So, I promised to show you what a birthday in a box is. Well, it's exactly what it says it is. It's a box, or a different kind of container, and in it you put things that you could use for a birthday. I have here a tick list. I normally put in a balloon, a birthday candle, a blow tickler, and for this one in particular I've made a DIY wish and a box of confetti. And for the confetti bag, and it's a bag really, and for the DIY wish I have separate videos and I will link to those later. And you can see this is a really sturdy box, so after the birthday people could use it for something else if they liked. You could also put in a gift card, you see, the size is large enough if you wanted to. I have here a tick list in Dutch, and this is my DIY wish in English, just to have everything complete in both languages. Right, I'm going to show you how you can make the box. I've used the Gingham Cottage Designer Series paper to create the liners as well, and the box is sturdy because this cardstock is double, it's a double fold. This one is in Calypso Coral and I'm going to recreate it in Real Red. You need 2 pieces of cardstock and you need 1 sheet of Designer Series paper. And I'll start with the bottom of the box. So I'm getting out my trimmer to do some cutting, and you want a piece which is 9 by 8 inches. And you're going to score that on all 4 sides at 1 1/4 and 2 1/2 inches. Now you may wonder why I didn't use my trimmer to do the scoring. That's because for a flat project like this I just prefer my Simply Scored. I think it gives me a better overview and it's more quick because you can quickly turn the paper, so it's just a matter of preference. You could definitely do it on your trimmer if you wanted to. So I promised you a score on all 4 sides at 1 1/4 and 2 1/2. I can tell you a trick for scoring. What I always make sure is that my hand touches this paper. With my left hand I keep it in the corner, and when I start scoring I keep my hand on the paper as a guide. Then you're less wobbly like that. And then I prefer to go over things twice, so instead of pushing really hard I think it's better to make the movement twice so that you get a deep score line without pressing too hard. So this is the scoring for the bottom, and then it's the same as many boxes that I make, so I'm sure if you've watched my videos before you know what's going to come. But maybe this is the first time you watch one of my videos, so I'll show you right from the start how to do it. With a bone folder I flatten these score lines, then I'm going to put my box like that and I'm going to cut up those 4 score lines there and those ones there as far as the second score line. So this is what I've done. Now I'm going to make some angle cuts. I'm going to make really tiny ones, and I've discovered that it helps me if I just do this from the back of the paper, because I'm going to cut away that score line. So it's a really tiny wedged cut. So I'm just only cutting off that score line, and I'm going to go around doing that to all those 4 longer parts. So just cut off the score line, and when you're here, at the same time you cut off one of those flaps. You don't want to cut off too much, because then the corners of the box won't look very neat. So I've done this on all those 4 pieces, and now I'm going to shorten these ones and cut in at an angle as well. Shortening is just cutting along the score line, and the wedges that I'm cutting, it doesn't really matter how neat they look, because they're going to be on the inside of the box. You're not going to see them. So if one of them is crooked or wider than the other, it doesn't really matter. Before I'm going to put the bottom together, I'm going to put in a liner, and for that I'm going to do some cutting of my designer series paper. And for the liner you want, I'm just checking my notes here, the bottom of the box is 3 inches by 4 inches, so you want to cut just under 3 and 4 inches, which comes down to, and I'll blend in those sizes, you've got 15th and 16th of an inch. So what I just do is I go to the 3-inch line on trimmer, and then I move 1 mark down. That is the 15th, 16th, and then make a cut. And then I need another one which is just under 4 inches. So the same thing, I just go to the 4-inch, move 1 down, and then I have the other one, and this should just fit in there. Do you see? It's nice within those scored lines. I'm going to adhere this on the inside of what's going to be the inside of the bottom. And I put down just a small strip of seal first, so that when I've moved it inside those score lines I can press down in the middle and then glue down the rest, and this is nice and stuck then. Right, then you're going to put tear and tape on. You could also use your Seal Plus. I'm going to do Seal Plus now. So you put strips along there and there and a bit there, one there. Some people don't like Seal Plus. You could definitely use your tear and tape in the same places. Then I'm going to put in those corners. It helps if first you push in that flap a bit. You make sure all these corners fit, and folding that one outside may be a bit helpful. And then there again. Then I'm going to push over those 2 flaps first, and then I push in these flaps, and you have a really nice box. And with my bone folder I'm pressing down on the glue to make sure that it adheres properly, and then you have the bottom part finished, and it looks nice. Can you see? So the designer series paper fits and all these flaps fit into the corners as well. I'm going to do the top of the box in the same way, and the measurements are different, but I'll show you. For the top of the box you need a piece of cardstock, which is, and I have here another sheet. It's 8 1/4 by, not 8 1/4, it's 8 1/8 by 7 1/8. So 8 1/8 of an inch by 7 1/8 of an inch. And while I have my cutter out, my trimmer out, I'll do some more cutting for the liner, for the lid. And for the liner, you need a piece which is just over 4 inches. So for the bottom, it had to be 1 down. Oops. For the lid, it has to be over. So I go to the 4-inch mark, and then I go 1 over that, cut. And the same thing for the other cut line, 3 inches, and you go over 1. And that is going to be fitting inside the lid. And this piece is going to be used for the decoration on the top later on. Again, I'm going to do the scoring. And for, I'll just get rid of my scraps here. The scoring here is on all 4 sides at 1 and 2 inches. I have just decided that I'm going to show you the entire process of making the lid as well, but I'll speed up for that so you can see what I'm doing, but I don't have to explain everything as well elaborately as I did before with the bottom. So the liner is in the lid as well, and I'm going to make the decoration for the top of the lid. And for that I need a piece of designer series paper, which is 5 3/4 by 4 3/4. And I'm going to cut off strips, and before I do that I'm going to put arrows on here so that I know which side is top. And then I'm going to put in my lid, see if I get everything in view, well, roughly. You're going to cut off strips of 7/8 of an inch. So here is the 1 inch score line, so I'm going to 7/8, and I cut off. So I put that one, first one there. I rotate. This one goes there. Rotate again. This one goes there, and the last rotation. And now when I've confused myself, I see an arrow there, so I know this one goes there. And here too, this is the way it should go up. There's a bit more cutting involved, because here I want to cut off 2 strips, well, 2 pieces of 7/8 of an inch. So at either end. And again I did have an arrow there, but not anymore. So we'll see if this fits. This is the right way, is it? Or this way? This is the way it should go, yeah. Then I have a continuous pattern. Sometimes with some patterns it's difficult to see. This one I'm going to cut off a piece which is there, 7/8, and then it goes on like that. And this one I'm going to cut off a piece which is at the top, 7/8 of an inch, and it goes there. And this one already was the correct size, so now I can stick these on in the same order that I put them down temporarily. So I'll go and do that. Same method, a bit of seal in the middle and then some Tombow around it. As you can see, I now have a beautifully continuous pattern, and I'm going to put my lid together in the same way that I did with the bottom, and I'll use tear and tape for this one to show you the difference. There is not much of a difference really. You put the tear and tape in the same places. You can see that with the Seal Plus it's just more quick, but there's not that much of a difference. Although I do have to say that if you're not really confident yet making boxes and you're afraid that when you use your Seal Plus that it will be too sticky for you, then you could use your tear and tape and be choosy in which of the backing where you remove the backing. It could make things easier. So for example, you could leave those flaps for a bit, and then you could even put tear and tape as far as there and just a strip along there. Then you could leave those flaps until last, and when you're sticking your box together, at least there won't be tear and tape, well, there won't be stickiness on your hands, if I'm making myself clear. I doubt it, but okay, never mind. So here I'm just using those two side flaps, and then you can put them together. And the advantage now is that here there's no stickiness yet, so it gives you more freedom to move around if that is what you would prefer. And then you can fold over those flaps, and then you could remove the backing on the top flaps and stick those down. The end result is the same. It may be more convenient for you, I don't know. And here you have the lid for the box with a really nice fit. And it's a sturdy box as well. That's the box finished. Don't forget to watch the tutorials on the DIY wish and the confetti bag. Leave me a question or a comment. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much for watching. Dank je wel voor het kijken and see you next time. Bye bye, tot ziens.